Christmas in the Acme Ballroom by Mabel Brown Stewart. Letter 17. Ornament. December 19th. Hello, Miss Hatch. I have some news. It's getting really close to Christmas. Darla and I are venturing back out to ask people for their extra Christmas ornaments to fill up those 3 trees. We're having to walk farther and farther from the Acme building because we've already knocked on a bunch of doors. We're going down this one street and I see a pink pickup truck. I'm pretty sure that it belongs to the plumber, Roger McNutt. He's the one who went down into our basement and saw something creepy that might have been the Picket Swamp Monster. I used to think it was just some guy in a costume, but after what happened the other night, I don't know. Anyway, I think Roger's a pretty good guy, so we head straight for his front door. Darla doesn't mess around. She starts pounding. When we hear Roger frantically unlocking his door and he swings it open. His eyes are wide. Darla might have overdone it with the knocking. Girls, he says, what's wrong? Oh, hi, Mr. Nutt, Darla says cheerfully. McNutt, I add under my breath. He seems to relax, realizing there's not an emergency. What's up? Well, Darla explains, we're decorating the Acme Ballroom for the holidays, and we were wondering if you have any extra ornaments that you aren't using. We can return them after Christmas if you want them back, I say. You know, since I'm a bachelor now, I don't plan to do much decorating for the holidays. I guess I'll wait till I get invited over. He chuckles a little sadly. I have a box of old Christmas stuff in my hall closet. Just a sec. He starts to shut the door and then leans out. I'm closing this because I don't want to let the cat out. We wait for Roger to return. Wish I could see Mr. McNutt's cat, says Darla. I miss Sean. I know, I say. I miss him so much. Do you think Sean's okay? Darla asks. He's been gone a really long time. Before I can reply, Mr. McNutt returns with a worn-out cardboard box filled with dusty, fragile-looking ornaments. These belong to my wife, my ex-wife, I guess I should say. She left them here, but I don't have the heart to toss them either. He hands them over. You don't need to bring them back, especially if I get invited to a holiday party at the Acme. Oh, it's going to be on Christmas Eve. I'll be sure to tell my mom, but I bet you're already on the list, I say, wondering if Mom has even started organizing this event. Just then we hear a mewing sound. Darla squeals, Is that your cat? And then, guess who appears? Yep, Sean! He is twisting around Mr. McNutt's ankles, purring in that ridiculously loud way of his. Sean! Darla and I shout together. I can't believe it. You found him, I exclaim. I can't help myself. I just sort of dive for Sean and scoop him up. I'm squeezing him and I start to cry. Oh no, says Mr. McNutt crestfallen. Is he yours? Yes, I say. He's been gone a long time, more than 2 weeks. Sean is letting me hold him and he slobbers against my arm. Roger looks at Sean. He showed up on my doorstep right after my wife left me. I try to keep him indoors, but he just keeps escaping. He always comes back, though. I sure love having him around, but I suppose, if he's yours. His voice trails off. Darla and I look at each other, then back at Mr. McNutt. Sean starts to wiggle in my arms. He wants to get down. I let him go, and he goes back to Mr. McNutt and rubs against him. Oh, I feel a weight in my chest. I'll be right back, says Mr. McNutt, and he disappears into his house, and Sean follows him. I can't believe he's been here with Mr. McNutt all this time, Darla says. I know, I say, and he seems to think this is where he lives now. Mr. McNutt returns with a tissue for me. I take a deep breath. I don't think I can take Sean back today, I say. Could he stay here for a little while longer? Mr. McNutt smiles broadly. Really? Oh, that would be wonderful. He has really helped me get through a rough patch. Oh, he's such a good kitty. Mr. McNutt pauses and then says, he is a cat, though, right? That long tail kind of throws me a little bit. Darla says, as far as we know, he's a cat. We give some final pets to Sean. He seems so attached to his new home. I'm feeling really torn. As we are heading back to the Acme with Roger McNutt's ornaments, Darla stops and looks at me. Mo, Sean really is your cat. You can ask for him back. I know, but Sean seems to want to be with Mr. McNutt. I mean, Sean chose him, and Mr. McNutt seems really lonely. I just don't think I can take him back right now. Darla smiles at me. Mo Stoll, you are what my grandma would call a good egg. Thanks, I sigh. I do feel sad, though, and a little rejected. I'll ask for Sean back, just not today. When we get back to the Acme, we start wiping down the dusty ornaments. They are really lovely. They look like they might be hand-painted, and they have these cool, crusty sparkles on them. How old do you think these are? I asked Darla. Wow, I don't know. They're definitely not from this century. I pull out the last one. It's a bit larger than the rest. This one has a scene of the Nativity on it. It has the usual, a creche with baby Jesus, Mary, Joseph, the Magi in long robes, a huge star in the sky, some farm animals gathered around, but off in the corner there's a small creature standing on two legs, looking up at the star. I show it to Darla. Look at this. Oh, there sure is a lot of detail in that. It's pretty, she says. But what is that animal? I ask, pointing to the one looking up at the star. Weird. I think it's a weasel, maybe. I'm not sure. Why would there be one of those in Bethlehem? Darla and I stop and look at each other. Jeff? Well, there's more to this story, Miss Hatch. I'll write again soon. Best, Mo.